Sure. Stand back and stand by.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, are you in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow it.
Are you in favor of law and order? Go
yes,
ahead.
I'm in favor.
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
Law and order.
Let him answer.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly.
Mr. President, I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead. Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
Socialist
right
healthcare.
Now, I am
and
the
they're going to dominate
party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the Democratic Party is what I, in fact, approved of.
First of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised.
The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure. I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
He doesn't know how to do that. You pick the wrong guy, the wrong guy. This is the same man
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter.
I now give the floor to the representative of India.
Mr. President, we exercise our right of reply to one more attempt by the leader of Pakistan to tarnish the image of this August forum by bringing in matters internal to my country and going so far as to spew falsehoods on the world stage. While such statements deserve our collective contempt and sympathy for the mindset of the person who utters falsehood repeatedly, I am taking the floor to set the record straight. Regrettably, this is not the first time the leader of Pakistan has misused platforms provided by the UN to propagate false and malicious propaganda against my country, and seeking in vain to divert the world's attention from the sad state of his country, where terrorists enjoy free pass while the lives of ordinary people, especially those belonging to the minority communities, are turned upside down.
Hear that? That's nothing. Which is what I, as a speaker at today's conference, have for you all. I have nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Zippo. Nothing smart. Nothing inspirational, nothing even remotely researched at all. I have absolutely nothing to say whatsoever. And yet, through my manner of speaking, I will make it seem like I do. Like what I am saying is brilliant. And maybe, just maybe, you will feel like you've learned something. Now, I'm going to get started with the opening. I'm going to make a lot of hand gestures. I'm going to do this with my right hand. I'm going to do this with my left. I'm going to adjust my glasses. And then I'm going to ask you all a question. By show of hands, how many of you all have been asked a question before? OK, great. I'm seeing some hands. And again, I have nothing here. Now, I'm going to react to that and act like I'm telling you a personal anecdote. Something to break the tension. Something to endear myself a little bit. Something kind of embarrassing. And you guys are going to make an awe sound. It's true. It really happened. And now I'm going to bring it to a broader point. I'm going to reel you back in. I'm going to make it intellectual. I'm going to bring it to this man right here. Now, what this man did was important, I'm sure. But I, for one, have no idea who he is. I simply Google image the word scientist. And now, you see, I'd like it to seem like I'm making points, building an argument, inspiring you to change your life, when in reality, this is just me buying time. Now, if you don't believe me, let's take a look at the numbers. This is a real thing that's happening right now. The number of talks that I'm giving is 1. Interesting facts imparted thus far in said talk, well, that's going to be a 0. My height in inches is 70.5. Note the 0.5 there. 2 times 6 equals 12, and then interestingly enough, 6 times 2 also equals 12. That's math.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the second session of Munster's International Conference Workshop training sessions, which are meant for all of you to help to prepare great speeches and prepare really well for the MUN conference. So as we discussed in our first session, we took you through the rules and procedures of MUN conferences. How do we make speeches? What happens at Model UN conferences? And we also took you through how to prepare for your MUN conference. That is, how do you do your research, which is split into understanding your committee, your agenda, and your country's perspective before you come over and give speeches and look for possible solutions by working with everybody else together and come up with great solutions to the problem given to you, which is protecting refugee children under the MUN Refugee Challenge given to us by UNHCR. So today, we are going to cover the different types of speaking that goes at a Model UN conference. And remember, it's not just what you say, it's not just about the content that you have researched, it's also about how you deliver and how you ensure that everybody participating in the conference is willing to listen to you. Right, so let's move ahead. Let's begin. All those who have already joined, I just want you to quickly add your attendance on the sheet so that we have an idea how many of you have attended our workshops and are well prepared. And any assistance on our chat group is always available to you. Right, so this was something which was mentioned in the last session also. There is a formality that needs to be followed when you are talking at a Model UN conference. So all your conversations and speeches will literally avoid the first person pronoun, that is I. Why? Because you at a Model UN conference are not an individual, you are a representative of a country. Hence, you'll always mention yourself as a delegate of the country given to you. So imagine if you're Argentina, you'll always call yourself as the delegate of Argentina believes. Delegate of Argentina would like to. Delegate of Argentina is in favor of. Delegate is an against of. So everything that you say is from your country's perspective and your country's stand. And hence avoid using I in any of your speeches or statements that you make at a Model UN conference. Hope that's clear from the last session itself. Again, remember that at a Model UN conference, you give different kind of speeches. So your speeches generally begin just as the roll call. Once the roll call is over, the attendance is taken and it's checked that all the delegates have entered the conference. The chair, as mentioned as rules of procedures in the last session, the chair will ask you, are there any motions on the floor? Maybe one or two or three delegates would come over and ask, delegates of China would like to start the conference with general speaker list for 30 minutes. So what are general speaker list? It is speeches. given by countries, mentioning their stand, and call to actions that the delegates would want the committee to work on. Right. So those speeches that you prepare and come are given first. After your roll call, you start with the speeches. What are the structure of your speeches? Unlike any other speech that you prepare at a public speaking conference or a TED talk or a debate, speeches are really, really small at MUN conferences, never more than 2 minutes and minimum 30 seconds. So you'll have to learn to structure your speeches. Try making speeches for 1 minute only. And if you have got 2 minutes to speak, you can just go slow and ensure that you speak for more than 1 minute, but do not prepare your speeches. And if you get less than 1 minute, speak a little faster so that you cover all the points that you have made in your speech really well. So ensure to practice and prepare your speeches specifically very small, but which have only the important content which is important immediately, right? So how do you make such speeches? When you are making your first speech to leave a mark in the committee, that's your first impression. That lets everybody know that you exist and you have got some real great ideas and you want to leave an impact on everybody listening. So how do you do that? When you're giving great speeches, it's about your speaking style, just as we saw a lot of videos while you all were joining in. Your speaking style matters, your content matters, but how you present it matters a lot. Ensure you are able to be followed by others. So the first question you ask yourself is, can we follow what you're saying? So imagine if you all don't understand what I say, that means I'm not using the right pace. Maybe I'm too slow, maybe I'm too fast, or maybe I'm not speaking in a manner that is, understood by everybody. So if you are following the right pace, you'll be heard. 2, can we hear you? If you keep an eye contact with your audience, that is, you look at the screen, you look at everybody and you speak at 7x your volume, ensure you can be sure that you'll be heard. Your volume, your pace, your speed matters. 3rd, tone. Can you stay engaged? Are you able to hook everybody's attention to you while you're speaking? Now that comes with pause, that comes with varying your tone up and down. So the best tactic that I would tell you is when you're speaking something very, very important and you want everybody to listen to you, take a pause and slow down. When you're saying a fact that everybody knows and not really important, say it fast, right? So how do we give great speeches within 1 minute and ensure that everybody is listening to you? Follow the right pace, keep your volume high, and follow the tone up and down so that you grab everybody's attention who's going to listen to your speech. That's about speaking. Now, you have to prepare your speeches, 1 minute speeches, effective enough to ensure that you deliver the call to action, also your country stand, and also let know the main problem. How do you do all that in a 1 minute speech? You'll have to divide your speech into 3 parts. 1, hook. It could be a fact, it could be a quote, it could be a very interesting, connected short story. It could be an information which just hooks everybody's attention to you. And then you directly deliver the point on which you want the committee to look forward to the major agenda or sub-agenda of the problem. And then you deliver the call to action that that you have come up with. And you are looking forward to work with the whole committee around that sub-agenda or around that point. That's your 1 minute speech. So remember to divide your speech into 3 parts. 2 sentences of hook, 3 sentences of points, 3 sentences of call to action. You'll have a 1 minute speech really good. You can add few more sentences in between. Keep a timer and practice your speeches really, really well so that you have all your content delivered within the 1 minute time. Yes, there will be a timer during the session and you'll not be allowed to speak more than the time allotted during every motion. Hope that's clear about your opening speeches, that are speeches that you learn and come during the committee. Now, those speeches are well researched, are based on your country policies and all that you have researched to make that one speech. Right? So if you want to give great speeches, make sure that you plan your opening speeches with international language and solution. If your speeches are concentrated around solution for your country only, you're not behaving as a global leader, you're behaving as an individual country. So ensure you come up with solutions which can be universal, which can be implemented at a universal level. Respond positively. So some great speeches are also very attractive, where one great way to hook others' attention is also when you appreciate other countries for some great solutions that they have mentioned or some great call to action that they mentioned during the conference. That way, you'll be able to collaborate well with that delegate, and you have made an ally, you have made a friend in the committee so that you can work together in the conference. That means you'll have to be a great listener rather than just a great speaker to participate really well at the conference. And while you're researching, ensure to brainstorm on universal solutions. That is solutions that can be applied to all the refugee children around the world, right? That can be implemented beyond your country. If you come up with such solutions and add them to your call to action, you have prepared a great speech. Right. So before I take you through the listening skills, I also want to take you through, once you have done your speeches, you have given your speeches, right? Second part is the committee will move on to have greater discussions around the sub-agendas of the conference, sub-agendas of the main agenda. So the agenda that you already have is protecting refugee children. There are a lot of other sub-agendas. So the committee will have to discuss on several pointers before you get into drafting solutions. So those smaller discussions happen around the second round of discussions or motion in the committee, which is known as moderated caucus. Moderated is moderated by the chair, where the chair will call out the name of the delegates. They'll raise the motions, and with that, it's voted by the committee. There will be speeches around it. So let us just quickly show you how a moderated caucus looks like. Once the general speaker list is over, the chair asks, are there any motions on the floor? Yes, delegate of China.
The delegate of China would like to raise a motion to have a moderated caucus on the topic measures to safe transit of children to war-free zones for a total time of 15 minutes, with each speaker getting 60 seconds.
Great. Thank you, delegate of China. So just as all of you just saw, second round of discussions, motions are raised on specific subtopics of the main agenda for a fixed time, also asking for specific time for each delegate. So if there's a motion for another 20 minutes and each speaker getting 1 minute or 60 seconds, that means every speaker who wants to participate in that motion can give a 1 minute speech. Again, for every motion, there is a voting. So you will have a poll on your screen, and you will have to vote whether you are in favor of that motion or whether you are against that motion. The chair will say, thank you, delegate of China, all those in favor, and you can cast your votes. I would just quickly request each one of you to cast your vote on favor or against. Great. So right now we have 5 votes, 6, fine. So the chair will then end the poll and share the results to the committee, which shows that 86% are in favor and the motion clearly passes. Once the motion passes, the next 20 minutes will be spent during the committee in doing discussions around that subtopic. So, delegate of China, would you like to speak first or last?
The delegate would like to speak first.
First. All those speakers who want to participate in this moderated caucus, please share your names on the chat. That means all those who want to speak for the next or participate in the moderated conference can share their names in the speaker list, and the chair will start calling them one by one and they can all deliver their speeches. That's moderated caucus. I just want all of you to just see how a speech at a moderated conference look like, caucus look like. Delegate of China, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. In a world marred by conflicts and turmoil, ensuring the safe transit of children to war-free zones is not just a responsibility, it's a moral imperative. Our collective duty to protect the innocence and future of these young souls demands immediate and concerted action. China places a strong emphasis on collaborative approach to ensure the safe transit of children to war-free zones. We advocate for robust international cooperation, transcending political differences to create a united front against the challenges faced by children in conflict zones. By forging alliances and partnerships, we can create a network that transcends borders, ensuring the safe passage of children across conflict zones. Utilizing advanced tracking systems and communication tools can help monitor and ensure the safe transit of children. Education, international collaboration, technological innovation, and psychological support must converge to create a protective shield around the most vulnerable members of our global community. Let us stand united in this noble cause, ensuring that every children has the opportunity to grow, to learn, and thrive in a world free from the ravages of war. Thank you. Ma'am, you're muted.
Thank you, delegates. So delegates, we are now clear that how moderated caucus go on for next 20 to 30 minutes as raised by delegates during the conference. And you can prepare small speeches, 30-second, 45-second, 1-minute speeches on sub-agendas that you want to be discussed during the committee. All the speaking sessions are a chance to each one of you to show your stand and let the committee know what are the major agendas according to your country's perspective. So ensure while you are preparing your speeches, 1-minute speech on the main agenda, also prepare 30 seconds to 45 seconds to 1-minute speeches on your further agendas. Just a minute. I'm just sharing another talk for all of you to watch very carefully.
When they're posted into new countries, they make sure that they understand the national interests of that country. They make sure that they understand the intellectual and popular culture of their new environment. And so what they do is they establish mutual trust and relationships with the influential members of this new environment. They do this so they can foster a positive collaboration between their national countries as well as the countries they're posted into. And then the best way they do this is by becoming active listeners. Ways that you all can become active listeners is by learning how to listen to obtain information, learning how to listen to learn, and learning how to listen to understand.
Hope that's very much clear. So what's really important at a model year conference is not just giving great speeches and preparing great speeches. It is also important to be great listeners so that you are able to collaborate and understand others' perspective and work together really, really well. Hope that's clear. So that was about your prepared speeches for general speaker list and the moderated caucus. Now, the third important thing that you have conversation that you have at the conference is informal, which is not moderated. Nobody is asking you who will speak next now. It is just informal and you sit down in groups and you work. Nanda Gopal, your associate director of UNHCR, will take you forward and help you understand what are informal meetings or unmoderated topics. Nandu, over to you. Nanda Gopal, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, hi everyone. I'm Nanda Gopalji. I'll be Associate Director for Juniors. Okay. So, unmoderated caucus. Unmoderated caucus is basically informal debates. In the word itself, it's stated unmoderated. which means the chair is not at all involved. In this, you can move freely and then you can interact with other countries or the other delegates of other countries, share your ideas, interact, clear your doubts, and more. But mostly unmods are, places where you can form blocks. Okay, so now what are blocks? A bloc is a group of countries who share a common policy on the topic being debated. That is, yeah, in the general speakers list, you listen to all the speeches. You realize which all countries have common ground with you. And then you interact with them during an unmod and you form blocks with them. So, how to form a block? Okay, ma'am, if you could move to the slide before that. Yeah, okay. So you could build blocks based on economic similarities, political similarities, social similarities, geographical similarities, and military alliances with other delegates. Now, how to form a block? So listen to other delegates. So listening is the main part of being a great diplomat. Listen to other delegates in order to know the similarities and the differences with other countries. Reach out to them by sending them a note. So you may send a message through, you have the messages. You may send a message through chat. You may have a brief discussion on their idea and what you feel about their speech, and have similar discussions to form blocks. And then you can set a meeting location. So you may communicate to them in chat by saying, let's meet in breakout, for example, let's meet in breakout room 4 during the upcoming unmoderated caucus. That's an example. And always ask yourself, what are your strengths? Be sure of your role in the block, and be sure on how you can contribute positively to the block. And then, yeah, listening. To be a successful diplomat, it is your responsibility to listen to others. Listening, as I told before, listening is the key element. You cannot go, continue in a committee without listening properly. While at the speakers list, take quick brief notes that you can refer later to form blocks or ask doubts during unmoderated caucus, and then build solution-oriented discourse during moderated caucus. Include your speech with solutions, a lot of solutions, so others know what your perspective is. They know what your idea is, so they can connect with you to form blocks and collaborate to write comprehensive and sustainable resolution that work for all. In the end, we form blocks. We need to make good resolutions for the future. Next is how to make others feel comfortable. Diplomacy skill in handling affairs without arousing hostility. Be respectful, use complete formal language. Be kind to others, be gentle, and know how to include others in the block activities. Do not leave out anyone, ask everyone's opinion, and then only move forward. Instead of just beating around the bush, share proper facts and use credible information that can be trusted. Ask questions and engage with others. Do not stay out of committee. Do not do not just stay away from interacting with others. Always be active. Keep asking questions. Keep clearing your doubts and engage with others. And instead of mixing up a lot of things, focus on one single thing. Focus on how you can make one single thing and how you can speak on it beautifully. And always begin your speech with honorable chair and fellow delegates. That's a key element. Make sure you use it. The next is avoid attacking. Attacking, okay. So once we are in a formal debate we are doing a speech, you should never attack other delegates, by using offensive comments. Use gentle and kind language. Always be sure on that. Use a formal language. Do not belittle others. Just because you're dominating a session, or you have a greater country, like you have a P5 country, some other country have a small African country, doesn't mean you can belittle them. Okay, so listen to their ideas as well, treat them equally. And then the usage of negative terminology, such as the word third world countries, never use those. avoid those type of words, and also charged terms such as fake news. Okay, instead of that, just try to use more formal form of language and treat others with respect. That's how you be a proper diplomat. That's how everyone learn to interact with you. The next is negotiation tactics. Listening over speaking. First, you listen instead of speaking. It's not how you can interpret that, how you can ask questions. It's how you can listen to them, how you can communicate with them. Take the first step and ask yourself, what do you think about their speech? What do you think about your idea? What do you think about their policies? Find a common ground. What do you feel? What they feel? What you want, what they want, and what do we want? Then only you can form a block and form resolutions for the future. Reframe the problem. Reframe the problem in such a way that you can reach consensus. In situation where you cannot reach consensus, reframe the problem and avoid those situations. And words matter. Each and every word that you use matter. Always have a plan, strategy, and a master relationship and compromise. So just keep this in mind. Words matter. That's a very important point. As I told before, use a formal language, be kind with others, do not attack each other, use proper words, and compromise, interact with others, and be master of your relationships. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nandagopal. So hope that was clear to each one of you that we have different kind of conversations and speeches prepared and unprepared during the conference. Your prepared speeches are yes, follow the formality and ensure you let everybody know the call to action that you have for the conference. But it's during the unmods that you really leave an impact on your other members by making them feel comfortable, by respecting them, by listening to them, by getting down in blocks and drafting real solutions to solve the problem. And remember, when we say avoid or talking, these are all non-negotiables during a conference or any MUN conference that you go. You will have to follow these. And negotiation, that's what you do to ensure that everybody is involved in the solution. You have to ensure that everybody agrees to a common ground and have a resolution drafted, which can be universally applied in all the countries for the refugee children around the world. Right. So your major work is not in your speeches or moderated caucus, but 60% of your time during the conference, you'll be spending at unmods, having informal discussion with other delegates to ensure that you listen to everybody and everybody listens to you. How do everybody listens to you? When you are approachable, when you make everybody feel comfortable. And how do you know what others are saying? By listening. Okay, there's another speaking that also goes during the conference in the action phase. Once you have given your speeches and you have told everybody what you want, when you have already done your mods and you have heard everybody what they want, the last is once you have drafted all the solutions, which is the draft resolution. We'll cover that, how to draft resolution in our third workshop next Sunday. There will be a presentation of your draft resolution. There will be question and answers to the resolution that they drafted. There will be amendments to the resolution that you have drafted. That phase of a MUN conference is known as the action phase. You have done your research, you have done the debate, you have done on the negotiation, you have drafted that resolution. The next speaking goes at action, which is known as the presentation period of your conference. Right. So what do you do at a presentation period? Some of your team members of your block will be presenting the draft resolution written in your blocks. Right. So before presenting the draft resolution, you have to convince the other delegates to listen to you with a small summary of what you're going to present. So say, why should other delegates vote in favor of your resolution? Why is your approach to solving the problem is the best approach? So that the other blocks who are sitting there to say their resolution is the best, you have to convince them to listen to your draft resolution. All right. And then you present your draft resolution, you read as it is the way you have written, and it is also presented on the screen by the chair. Everything that you draft during the unmoderated caucus in your blocks will be shared with the chair. Now, once you have presented your draft resolution, there will be question and answer session, which is Q&A period in the committee. There will be motion for Q&A. Now, as a presenter, you will have to give great answers. And as a listener, you have to come up with great questions. Both your skills of questioning skills and answering skills are judged, are evaluated. So ensure you give, first, as said throughout the committee, throughout the session, you have to be a great listener. Until you listen to what is said in the draft resolution, you cannot come up with great questions. Now, questions are supposed to be great. How do you give great questions? Do not give a great, big, lengthy introductory statement about what you are going to speak. Directly come to the point. Ask open-ended questions, right? Rather than asking, do you think this action will work? If the answer is yes or no, you have not asked a great question. Either you can ask a question of how do you think that action can be implemented? How do you think that action will be really helpful is a better question, right? So ask open-ended question which could have a clarifying answer. And third, do not simply state your opinion as a question. When your chance is to ask a question, don't say your opinion. Delegate of China doesn't think this action really works because of this. That is not a question. That's an opinion. And there you are not expecting any answer. You're expecting another opinion from the presenter, right? So use your Q&A period really well to come up with real good questions. And that you can do only when you have heard the draft resolution, listen really well. While you are answering, ensure that you have done your reading of the draft resolution really well before you go and present. Before you present your draft resolution, ask yourself, does the resolution address to all the issues that the committee discussed? Are the resolutions missing important actions or details? Does the resolution conflict with the sponsor country's policy? Sponsor is the author, somebody who has written that draft resolution. Does the resolution contradict itself? Right? Does the resolution mention something which it specifically mentioned that it cannot do, and then it do in the activity or solutions already done? If it speaks two things which is in favor and against in the same resolution, you have actually created a question to your own draft resolution. So to give great answers, you will have to do a good reading of your draft resolution that you have already created, then be ready with questions that may come up. So while you are drafting before you present, ask questions that may come up to you. Have a Q&A in your block itself so that you're ready to all the answers that may come up during the committee. All right. So these are the different kinds of speaking and conversations and speeches that go at a MUN conference. Start with a roll call, you give your speeches, you moderated caucus on sub-agendas, you get into unmods and you discuss and draft resolutions, and then you present, you give speeches, then you have Q&A sessions, you defend your points, you ensure that you have all your points clearly mentioned, and you convince others why these points and solutions are important. That is done by all the blocks. And then further, the committee will look forward to merge those resolutions, and then it will enter into negotiations, convincing each other why all the points are important. That's the kind of speaking and conversations that goes at a Model UN conference. In our next session, we'll take you through how to draft great resolutions with great possible solutions so that you have right facts and right pointers and right clauses and right punctuation to ensure you have lesser questions to be asked and you have written a legal document, which is the way it is written at United Nations. Right? So that's all in today's session. Now I want to open up the floor and I want all of you to come up with any questions that you have in your mind. You can put up in chat or you can just unmute and ask. You can also raise your hand and ask if you have any questions. If you feel comfortable with chat, you can just put it on chat. I hope all of you have already marked your attendance. If you have already not done, please do that now, those who joined late. Any questions? Bella? Krishna, Annabelle, Veda, Martha, Dia, Anand, do you have any doubts? Was all your questions? Anything that was totally new to you? Ashish, Krishna. Fine. This session was also recorded and is also live on YouTube. You all are already available on our Monsters group. Please feel free to put up a question. You can always put a direct question to Nand Gopal. He's there in the committee in the MUNIC group. I hope all of you are already there. If you have already enrolled, I hope most of you have already enrolled for the conference. If you're still not done, you have time for another 4 days. Drop in and use this chance best to contribute your solutions to the MUN Refugee Challenge. I hope you have started your research. If you have any doubts around research also, please feel free to ask. I remember one of the delegates in our last session asked, can I join as an observer? Right, so there is all the possibility of joining as an observer, just that we would rather, motivate you to, encourage you to act as a participant. Right, so you can always join as an observer also. Remember that in the whole conference, nobody will call your name and ask, please speak. The best part of a Model UN conference is you will have to yourself decide whether you want to speak or participate. Throughout the conference, you can always choose to stay quiet and be a listener throughout the committee hours also, and just participate during the draft resolution or unmods as well. There is no compulsion to give speeches. There is no compulsion to participate in moderated caucuses. You can be a great listener throughout and act directly during unmods also. That's the freedom that you have at a Model UN conference. We have seen a lot of delegates who have never given speeches but have been great at sharing solutions during the unmods and drafting great draft resolution, coming up with real good creative ideas. We have also seen delegates who do not speak at all, but when it comes to merging the resolutions, negotiation part, they are real great negotiators and convincing other delegates why this point is good and this point is bad. We have also seen delegates who are not great speakers but are great at asking some questions that makes everybody think during the Q&A session. Some just come up with great amendments to some pointers which would make the solution great, right? So you can come up with your specific skill at a conference. If you're an introvert, you don't like to give speeches, but you want to really make a change and write a draft to your resolution, come over and join at the MUN conferences. In any other events, you might have a compulsion to speak. Here, the compulsion is to be a great participant in your own way. You can be a great writer, you can be a great negotiator, you can be a great speaker, or you can be just a great creative idea sharing person in the committee. Or maybe you can be a great researcher and become an encyclopedia for the committee who has all the facts for everybody to draft resolution. You can be anything at Model UN conference. So yes, you can be an observer. You can be an active participant also in your own way. So if you still look forward to give a chance and participate in Experience MUN conference, if you have not done, please do. You will have all the details on the committee groups, right? So I don't see any questions. I hope everything is clear with you and you all are happy. If you have any doubts around research also, next Sunday, we'll have a last training session, so you can put it up there as well. Okay? Fine. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time.